From the Washington Convention Center in Washington, D.C., this is the Boxing Along the Beltway post-fight wrap-up show. The Boxing Along the Beltway post-fight wrap-up show is brought to you in part by UndisputedBrand.com. Visit UndisputedBrand.com for the finest in boxing and mixed martial arts apparel. Undisputed Brand, the brand true champions wear. And by JM Photography at jmphotography26@yahoo.com. JM Photography, where your home is your studio. Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams alongside Juan Marshall of ProAm Fight Talk.blogspot.com. And also we have Michael Walters, who writes for Bleacher Report, as well as BoxingTalk.com here at ringside, where we just saw a tremendous match-made card. I guess that's an adjective you can use, but it was a tremendous card that was very close, and not all for the locals tonight. And we can truthfully say that the locals earned their pay tonight, even those that lost, and the guys who came in here did not come in to lay down by any means as necessary. Definitely no question about that. And we can start that off with our main event. We had the chance to hear the interview with Dusty Harrison. We had two things. Dusty Harrison got knocked down for the very first time in his pro or amateur career, and he survived 6 rounds with a 6-round unanimous decision. And Juan, I tell you, he will come out of that one, Harrison will, with a lot of learning situations.
Yeah, he said he wasn't expecting that kind of knockdown even in his amateur career and professional career, which was a surprise to him, but he persevered and came through the fight, and he won the fight.
And also, Michael, you're looking at a situation where he was surprised by it, but as we said earlier, Marcus Jackson did not come in to lay down tonight.
No, I don't think Marcus Jackson, a lot of times you see these cards on the lower levels that guys are coming in, they're here to lay down. Marcus Jackson was definitely not here to lay down. He hit him with a great shot, he put him down, and Dusty, he did what you're supposed to do. He did what a pro does. He tied him up. Yeah, he got warned by the ref, but he tied him up. That's what you're supposed to do. He made his way through it. He fought out the rest of the round. And, at the end of the round, he was winning it. Yep. He won the last half the round, but, he still got dropped.
Yep. And Harrison did have his rounds in the bank early on. The scores were 58-55 and 59. I'm sorry, 59-55 and 58-55 twice. So we saw that Harrison had rounds in the bank, but the knockout could have washed away everything. But come September 29th, we'll see if Dusty Harrison has learned from what happened here tonight. But for now, Dusty Harrison is 8-0 with 4 KOs. Marcus Jackson falls to 2-6 with 1 no contest. Now, Michael Walters called this card during the beginning of the card, the night of the underdog. And it happened tonight in many different ways. And it happened definitely in our co-feature, Mike, when Richie Andrews, who has a very unique record, a lot of draws in his record, but he came in tonight loaded for bear, and he knocked off by split decision Harold Sweetley Parker.
Well, if you look at Richie Andrews, he's 3-2-3, or what is he? 3-2-3.
3-2-3 going in.
But he is not his record. His record doesn't say who he is as a fighter. Yesterday at the weigh-in, he was showing who he was. He was ready. He showed that he was there to fight. He wasn't intimidated by Parker's amateur pedigree or anything like that. He was there to fight, and he showed it tonight in the ring. He rushed him. He came through with him. He bodied him. He moved him around the ring. He did what he needed to do. Parker stood back, he didn't throw the punches he needed to punch, and it cost him the fight.
When you talk about that weigh-in, and Juan, both of you all were there actually, and it got really testy between Parker and Andrews here tonight.
It did. Parker approached Andrew with aggressive nature, and Andrew told him that he was going to win. He hadn't fought anyone as Andrew's caliber, and Andrew showed him tonight. And briefly, we want to say, Mike and I talked to Parker after the fight. He mentioned something about his shoulder, left shoulder or something was injured during the fight, so he couldn't throw the punches that he wanted to throw. And that's probably why we didn't see him as active as we saw in the other. But he said he didn't use that as an excuse to with the loss of this fight. So he's going to get back in the gym and go for the next fight.
So we'll see what happens as Harold Parker loses for the first time in his pro career, 2-1, 2 KOs. Richie Andrews rises now to 4-2-3 with 1 KO. Also on the card tonight, another, I guess you could say, minor upset, especially since the first time these two guys met, it was Ronaldo Gaines who won by majority decision. Tonight, however, it was indeed David Warren Huffman out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who wins for the very first time in his pro career. He wins a 4-round split decision.
Yes, maybe he saw something from the first fight that he took into this fight, which he saw Gaines come out in the first 2 rounds strong, but weakened down at the 3rd and 4th round, which he picked up in one of those last rounds.
Does it look like to me, Mike, that Gaines does kind of he does kind of teeter out toward the last 2 rounds of the fight?
Yeah, I think he definitely started gassing in the third. I also thought yesterday at the weigh-in when he weighed 131 for a contracted fight of 126, and then apparently got bumped to 128, but still he was over the weight limit. It showed that he wasn't in shape for the fight, and he wasn't taking it seriously, and it showed in the fight and in the third round that he completely slowed down.
Bernardo Gaines loses for the first time in his pro career. He's 2-1, and David Warren Huffman, as he said, is 1-7. Also on the card tonight, a easy victory for Phil Jackson Benson out of New York City. He goes to 8-1, 7 KOs. Anthony Piantrantonio loses at 7-10 with 6 KOs. Also tonight, another upset. We got a chance to talk to him off air a little bit. Jimmy the Dream LeBlanc, and many of you who have seen Jimmy LeBlanc come to this area, face the likes of Jimmy Lang, and have some difficulties tonight. Very little difficulty for Jimmy LeBlanc tonight against Josh Rupert, who had not fought a guy like Jimmy LeBlanc, who has 40 fights to his credit, as opposed to Rupert with just 2 fights. We know it's a late sub situation that LeBlanc was, but I got to tell you, that has to be a learning experience for Josh Rupert.
Well, LeBlanc, yeah, his record's terrible, but he's been in with good guys, and he knows how to fight.
Exactly.
So you've got a guy, he's 32 years old, he took up boxing, now he's going pro, and he's 2-0. He'd never been matched that hard in LeBlanc. He wasn't here to lay down, and he showed that. He hit him with devastating body shots throughout the fight, and that's what ultimately won him the fight.
Yes, indeed. And Juan, I guess, hopefully Joshua Rupert will be able to come back and do some more damage here, but he'll take something away from this bout.
The only time will tell, you know, if he gets back in the gym and stays true to the sport. So we'll see what happens.
No question about that. Also on the card tonight, a couple pro debuts. Gregory Newby making his pro debut, an easy one, 138 the first round, beautiful body shot, knocks out Gavin Hume. Also Joshua Marvelous Mo Parker, Harold's younger brother, scored a second round TKO over Joseph Dixon of Raleigh, North Carolina. But Mike, we all saw actually that Joshua Parker got a little bit happy toward the tail end of that and hit Dixon after the bell.
If I was Dixon's corner, I would have talked to the commission, I would have talked to the referee. Clearly hit him when he was down, at least with 3 punches. The last one was a really solid shot, and he couldn't continue.
Yeah.
If I was the corner, I would have said something. Would the outcome have been any different? No. He still would have got knocked out, but maybe it would have took a little longer.
Yeah, it would have. That would have showed some experience with the pro debut. You know, him hitting after the punch, and you know his corner jumped on him a little bit about that. So I'm pretty sure next time he'll know.
No question about it. And both guys made their pro debut here this evening. Also tonight, Farrah DeRose Price out of Suffolk, Virginia, now fighting out of D.C., won a unanimous decision over Issa Coulibaly, but I think all 3 of us at ringside really thought Coulibaly won that bout tonight.
Yeah, the guy with the Kwame polka dots in his hair definitely won. He won that fight clearly. It was 39-37. If you've ever watched boxing in your life, you would know that he won that fight. He was busier, he landed the cleaner punches. I don't know what the judges saw tonight.
No question about it. So we'll see what happens there. Coulibaly now 0-2. 2 tough losses for him, also against Lee Snow over in Baltimore, and Farrah DeRose Price is now 2-0. So that does it for the card here from this area. A lot coming up in the next few weeks. September 22nd, we'll be at Millersville, Maryland for the Tony Jeter Promotions card. Looks like there'll be 3 regional titles on that bout, that card. We're trying to get the matchups for. We do know that Tony Jeter will be fighting for the WBC Fecker Box title, and also Elias Boulibasis will be on the card, and U.S. Boxing Union card bout. Nick Kisner, excuse me, also on that card in the USBU title bout as well. So 3 regional titles in that card, September 22nd at the Club One Fitness in Millersville, Maryland. And right back here at the Washington Convention Center, we're back here for another card, Keystone Boxing card on September 29th. Don't forget, we still have the Jonathan Ogden Foundation bout card in Cockeysville, Maryland. Fight nights coming up in November as well with that the Washington Hilton. We'll see what the matchups we have with that. So a lot going on. We also have guys fighting elsewhere. We just found out, of course, that Seth Mitchell, his bout has been moved to November 3rd. We don't know where it's going to be at this time. And Lamont Peterson, Zab Judah, somewhere, sometime, will be in the wings. So a lot going on as well. So before we close tonight, I got to say a couple things. Earlier today, I had the opportunity to attend the funeral for Budurin Bo Akinyanju over at J.B. Jenkins Funeral Home in Landover, Maryland. And it was a tremendous event. A lot of people were there. I've never seen J.B. Jenkins Funeral Home that packed. and people from all walks of life. A lot of people in the boxing community. I won't mention their names because it really doesn't matter, but suffice to say we had a good representation from the Beltway boxing community, and of course the entire family and members of Akinyanju's family were here tonight and received a memorial 10 count and a promise of funds. And again, it was a tough loss, Juan, for the whole Beltway boxing community with Budokan Akinyanju.
Yeah, he's going to be missed. The heavyweight, contender coming up. Local fighter, father, new father.
Right, very new
married.
father.
So prayers go out to the family.
Yeah. Add to the fact that also right around the time of Bo's passing, he and his wife were celebrating their 1-year anniversary as a married couple. So Mike, again, when something like this happens, the Beltway boxing community seems to rally around him.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of people made donations. There were, a little confusion about everything, but everything has gotten worked out. Tonight, Keystone, they presented a check to the family in the ring, and I think that was the right thing to do.
No question.
And I think that, all of D.C., Virginia, and Maryland will come around for things like that.
And also, it was also nice to see Dr. Gregory Banks, who was here just a few weeks after the tragic passing of his son, who was hit by a car in Virginia last month. So it was great to see him back here as well. And again, that's personal for me because I did go to college with Greg Banks. So our best wishes to him and his family as well. And that will do it here from the Walter E. Washington Convention Center. Remember, the Boxing Along the Beltway post-fight wrap-up show is brought to you in part by UndisputedBrand.com. Visit UndisputedBrand.com for the finest in boxing and mixed martial arts apparel. Undisputed Brand, the brand true champions wear. And also by JM Photography at jmphotography26 at yahoo.com. Your home is your studio with JM Photography. And I'd like to thank Brent, our camera operator, for working with us this evening. You'll see the video version as well. The audio version will be on Spreaker.com. 4th Street Film. Thank you very much, Brent. Appreciate that. That'll do it for Michael Walters of Bleacher Report and BoxingTalk.com and Juan Marshall of ProAmFightTalk.blogspot.com. I'm Gary Digital Williams saying so long from the Walter E. Washington Convention Center. And as always, keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the Boxing Along the Beltway. Take care.